The highway stretched out like an endless ribbon, carrying Ethan, Jake, Mia, Sophie, and Ryan away from their youth. Behind them, the city lights flickered and faded into the rearview mirror, a glowing memory of safety. This secluded cabin was supposed to be a final sanctuary, a place to toast to their futures before college paths diverged forever. But as the sun dipped below the jagged horizon, bleeding crimson into the sky, the air inside the car grew heavy. Without warning, the GPS flickered, its blue light dying into a cold black screen. A suffocating silence filled the cabin, broken only by the hum of tires on asphalt. They were alone in the deepening dark. Jake slammed his palms against the steering wheel, his knuckles turning a ghostly white against the leather. Ryan tried to laugh, a hollow sound that lacked any real confidence. "It is just one road," he insisted, his voice trembling. "We stay on the path. We find the house." But the path was disappearing. The headlights hit a wall of unnatural ink-black fog that seemed to swallow the light itself. Sophie gasped, her finger trembling as she pointed toward the tree line. There, standing amidst the twisted shadows, was a tall, motionless figure. It did not move. It did not breathe. It simply watched. Before their hearts could beat again, the figure vanished into the mist. Then, the engine gave a final, agonizing groan and went dead. The car rolled to a silent halt. No wind, no insects, only a heavy, oppressive stillness that felt like a physical weight. 50 yards ahead, a dilapidated house emerged from the fog like a rotting corpse. Its windows were shattered, jagged glass protruding like broken teeth. Yet, from deep within the ruin, a warm yellow light pulsed, rhythmic as a heartbeat. Desperate for any shelter from the void outside, the group scrambled toward the porch. Ethan pushed the door, the ancient wood screaming on its rusted hinges. Inside, an elderly woman sat in a rocking chair, her gaze fixed on nothing. She did not blink as they entered. "We need help," Ethan stammered, his voice small in the vast room. The woman finally spoke, her voice a dry rasp that chilled their blood. "You should not be here after dark," she whispered. She did not look at them. She looked through them, as if they were already ghosts. The clock on the mantel ticked toward the end of the world. At 11:45 p.m., the house began to groan, the floorboards twisting under the weight of something unseen. Heavy, rhythmic footsteps began to circle the perimeter, thudding against the earth. Ryan crept to the window, peeling back a rotting curtain. He recoiled instantly, his face drained of all color. Dozens of those tall, thin, shadow-like figures stood in the yard, their faceless heads all tilted toward the house. At the stroke of midnight, a thunderous, bone-shaking knock rattled the front door. Then, a child's voice drifted through the wood, soft and pleading. "Please, let me in. It is cold out here." Mia took a step forward, her hand reaching for the latch, but the elderly woman moved with impossible speed. She grabbed Mia's arm with bruising force, her fingers like iron claws. "Do not open it," she hissed, her eyes wide with terror. Suddenly, the voice outside shifted. It was no longer a child. It became Ethan's voice, then Sophie's, then Jake's perfect, hollow imitations of their own screams. The walls began to crack under an immense, invisible pressure. The yellow light flickered and died, plunging them into total darkness. In that pitch-black void, the sound of footsteps echoed not outside, but on the floorboards right beside them. The rocking chair began to creak, faster and faster. Jake, driven to madness by the sound, lunged for the door and threw it open to escape. He was instantly snatched. A single, jagged scream cut through the air, followed by a silence so profound it felt like the end of time. The remaining four huddled together in the center of the room, listening to the walls clawing at their sanity as the night dragged on forever. With the first gray light of dawn, the nightmare dissolved. The house simply vanished, leaving them sitting in a damp clearing. Their car sat 20 yards away. Ethan turned the key, and the engine roared to life on the first try. They fled that forest without looking back, a pact of silence sealing their lips for years to come. Years later, Ryan returned, seeking a closure that would not come. He found no house, only a moss-covered sign, Blackwood Memorial. It listed 4 names, Ethan, Mia, Sophie, and Jake. As he touched the cold wood, a fresh, jagged carving appeared beneath his fingers. Ryan Carter. A familiar, hollow voice drifted from the trees. Welcome back. Deep in the woods, a chair began to creak.